The housing situation that we have in the country is one that requires deliberate moves to ensure that we address the backlog. And the Informal Settlement Upgrading Project is one such a move that has been introduced, obviously by the government, and is being implemented now on a national scale by the National Housing Enterprise. Now, this project started in 2020, and the background of it is that it started in Windhoek, where NHE, the City of Windhoek, the Commerce Regional Council, and of course the Line Ministry, which is the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development, came together to pilot it in the capital. Now, it was so successful, or it is so successful because it's still ongoing in the capital, to an extent that a decision was then made to take it to all 14 regions of the country. So what we have been doing now is to engage local authorities so that we identify those informal settlements where we can focus. For instance, here in Katima, where we've just finished now the public information session, the local authority gave us Choto Extension 1, Choto Extension 2, and Choto Proper and Butterfly. So these are the first 4 extensions that we are going to focus on, and these are the people that you see here that we have engaged to give them all the details that are required for the project, so that everyone knows where they are, and when applications start, everyone knows what they need to submit. So basically, this is where we are. The project has already started. Like I said, in Windhoek has been a great success. Right now, implementation or construction has also started in Swakopmund. So we are seeking to get to a point where in all regions we have a project running under the National Informal Settlement Upgrading Project. It's obviously governed by policies, and one of those policies is the Human Resources Policy, which kind of governs the recruitment process. So we will employ our policy to ensure that we have the 3 interns, and of course, it's a high time now. You can't get someone to do something, and you fail to give them even something, to get them across the road. So we will, to answer your question, we will compensate them in line with the provisions of our policies, and we will look for local people who will be based at the town council offices here in Choto, so that our people or our residents don't have to walk the long distance to town to access this service. So everything will be done at the local office here. We have engaged the town council. They have approved our request to place our interns at their office here. So residents are encouraged. Once the recruitment process of the interns is done, we will make the necessary announcements using the necessary platforms, our social media platforms, and of course the local radio, to inform residents who say they can now start bringing in their application forms. The project targets individuals that have plots allocated to them by the local authority first. So we are making a provision, or a provision has been made to say, in an event where a client still owes money on the plot to the local authority, then that amount forms part of the selling price of that house. We will then get that money and add it on the loan, so that then it becomes easier for all residents to partake in this program. If we are to say you settle your bill or you settle the amount for the land by yourself, we will leave out a lot of people, and we do not want to do that. Now let me touch on the issue of the limitation of 70 years as a requirement. There is that limitation to say the program only caters for people who are 70 years old and below. However, there is a provision that we have made on something that we call co-applicant. So if someone is, say, 65 years and they have a relative, a son or a grandson or a grandchild that wants to help the grandfather or wants to help the father to pay, then the person is assessed as if he was the first applicant. So we call that person a co-applicant because he will be the one now to take on the loan. Obviously, the house remains it remains as a property of the owner. However, this is a voluntary kind of arrangement that we are making to say, if you have your son that wants to help you, then they can help you. Even if you are even if you are 72 or 73 years old, then we'll look at the prospects of your co-applicant and actually gauge from that perspective.